Hello and welcome back to Fallonits. It is just me today, and I need to talk about something that goes against almost everything you have ever been told. Something that might make your high school coach roll over in their grave. Something that motivational posters have been lying to you about for decades. Today, I am going to defend quitting. Yes, quitting. The thing we were told makes us losers. The thing we were taught to avoid at all costs. The thing that every inspirational quote calls the opposite of success. I am here to tell you that quitting is not only okay, it is actually a skill, a valuable skill, a skill that successful people use all the time. And if you do not learn how to quit, you will waste years of your life on things that are slowly killing you. Let me start with a confession. I used to be terrible at quitting. I mean pathologically bad. I stayed in a job I hated for 3 extra years because I did not want to be a quitter. I stayed in a relationship that made me feel small for 2 years because I thought love meant never giving up. I stayed in a city that made me miserable for an entire year because I told myself I had to see it through. I was a martyr of persistence, and I was miserable every single day because I had swallowed the lie that quitting is weakness. That real strength is suffering through something until the bitter end. That is not strength. That is stupidity. That is ego. That is fear dressed up as discipline. Then one day, I quit something small. I quit a book I was reading. I was 200 pages in, and I hated it. Every page was a struggle, but I felt guilty. I was raised to finish what you start. My mom's voice was in my head saying, "You started it, you finish it." But I looked at that book. I looked at the pile of other books I actually wanted to read, and I closed it. I put it on the shelf, and I walked away. And you know what happened? Nothing. The world did not end. No one shamed me. I just felt relief, a huge wave of relief. And I thought, if quitting a book feels as good, what else could I quit? That was the beginning of my education in strategic quitting. And today, I want to share what I learned. Because I believe that knowing when to quit is more important than knowing how to persist. And most of us have that completely backwards. So let me break down the 7 truths about quitting that nobody taught you in school. And by the end, I hope you have the courage to quit something that is quietly ruining your life. Truth number 1. Quitting is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Think about any successful person you admire. Anyone, an entrepreneur, an artist, an athlete. I promise you, they have quit more things than you can imagine. They quit jobs. They quit projects. They quit partnerships. They quit strategies that were not working. The only difference between you and them is that they quit fast and you quit slow. Or worse, you never quit at all. Successful people are not people who never quit. They are people who quit the right things at the right time, so they have energy for the right things. Quitting is editing. Every book gets edited. Every movie gets scenes cut. Every product has features removed. Editing is not failure. Editing is how you make something better. Your life is the same. You cannot do everything. You cannot be everything. You have to cut things out. That is quitting, and it is essential. So stop thinking of quitting as losing. Start thinking of quitting as making space. Truth number 2. Sunk cost fallacy is the enemy of your happiness. Let me explain what sunk cost fallacy is because it is the reason most people stay in bad situations way too long. Sunk cost fallacy is when you keep doing something because you've already invested time, money, or energy into it, even though continuing is a bad idea. You have probably felt this. You buy a ticket to a movie. 20 minutes in, the movie is terrible, but you stay because you paid for the ticket. That is sunk cost fallacy. The money is gone. It is not coming back. Staying does not get your money back. It just wastes another hour of your life. The same thing happens with relationships. You have been together for 2 years. The relationship is bad, but you think, I cannot leave now. I have already invested 2 years. That is sunk cost fallacy. Those 2 years are gone. They are not coming back. Staying another year does not get them back. It just wastes another year. The same thing happens with careers. You spent 4 years getting a degree. You hate the field, but you think, I cannot change now. I already did the degree. That is sunk cost fallacy. The degree is done. It does not matter. What matters is the next 40 years of your life. Do you want to spend them miserable because of something you already did? The smartest thing you can do is ignore past investment and ask one question. From this moment forward, does continuing make sense? If the answer is no, quit. Immediately, the past is gone. Do not let it kidnap your future. Truth number 3. There is a difference between quitting because you are lazy and quitting because you are smart, and you need to learn to tell them apart. This is important because I am not telling you to quit everything the moment it gets hard. That is not strategic quitting. That is just being a quitter. The difference is in your reason. Quitting because something is hard, that is usually lazy. Quitting because something is wrong, that is smart. Quitting because you are tired, lazy. Quitting because the thing is not aligned with your values, smart. Quitting because you hit one obstacle, lazy. Quitting because you have tried many times and the evidence shows it is not working, smart. So how do you tell the difference? You ask yourself a few questions. Have I given this a real try? Not a half try, a real try. Have I put an honest effort? Have I sought help? Have I learned from my mistakes? If the answer is no, do not quit yet. You are being lazy. Try harder first. But if the answer is yes, you have tried honestly, you have put in the work, and it is still not working or not making you happy, then quitting is not lazy. It is wise. It is strategic. It is freeing up your life for something better. The problem is that our culture teaches us that every quit is lazy, so we stay in bad situations forever, trying harder and harder until we burn out completely. Do not fall for that. Try hard, then evaluate, then quit if you need to. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Truth number 4. Quitting is a skill you have to practice. Nobody is born good at quitting. We are born with the opposite instinct. The instinct to keep going, to not waste resources, to stay with a herd. Quitting goes against thousands of years of evolution, so it feels wrong. It feels uncomfortable. That is why you have to practice it on small things first. Start with a book. Quit a book you hate. Feel the discomfort. Notice that nothing bad happens. Then quit a TV show you are only watching out of habit. 3 seasons in, and it got bad? Quit. Feel that relief. Then quit a subscription you do not use. Then quit a commitment that drains you. Then quit a friendship that makes you feel bad. Each time you quit something small, you build a muscle. You teach your brain that quitting is not dangerous. That quitting is actually relief. And then, when you face a big decision, a job or a relationship or a major commitment, you will have the strength to quit if you need to, because you have practiced. Most people never practice quitting. So when the big moment comes, they freeze. They stay. They suffer. Do not be most people. Practice quitting. Start today. Quit something small. It will feel weird. Do it anyway. Truth number 5. Quitting is not permanent. This was a huge realization for me. I used to think that if I quit something, I could never go back, that the door would be closed forever. That is almost never true. You can quit a job and later come back to the same industry. You can quit a relationship and later be friends. You can quit a city and later move back. Quitting is not burning a bridge. Quitting is just taking a break. It is just choosing something else for now. The world is more flexible than you think. Most things you quit, you could go back to if you really wanted. And most of the time, you will not want to, because once you quit, you will realize how much better your life is without that thing. But knowing that you could go back, that the door is still open, makes quitting less scary. So remind yourself, this is not forever. This is just for now. I am not saying never. I am saying not right now. That small shift in mindset makes quitting feel possible. Truth number 6. Quitting one thing means saying yes to something else. This is a positive way to think about quitting. Every time you quit something, you are freeing up time, energy, attention, and emotional space. And that space can be filled with something better. When I quit that terrible job, I had time to look for a better one. When I quit that draining relationship, I had emotional space to heal. When I quit that city I hated, I had the energy to build a home somewhere else. Quitting is not just subtraction. It is addition. You are subtracting the bad so you can add the good. So do not focus on what you are losing. Focus on what you are gaining. You are gaining hours of your life back. You are gaining peace of mind. You are gaining self-respect. You are gaining the chance to try something that might actually work. That is a win. That is a huge win. So when you're scared to quit, ask yourself, what am I saying yes to by saying no to this? The answer is usually something amazing. Truth number 7. The best time to quit was yesterday. The second best time is now. This is the hardest truth, because we always want to quit later. We say, I will quit after the holidays. I will quit after this project. I will quit when I find something else. I will quit when I have more savings. There is always a reason to wait. But waiting is just suffering longer. Every day you stay in something that is wrong for you is a day you are not spending on something right for you. Those days add up. A month becomes a year. A year becomes 5 years. 5 years becomes a decade. And one day you wake up and realize you wasted a decade on something that never made you happy. Do not let that happen. Quit now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now. I know it is scary. I know it feels irresponsible. I know people will judge you. Do it anyway. Your future self is begging you. Quit now. Let me give you some real examples from my life. Times I quit, and it was the best decision I ever made. And times I did not quit, and I deeply regret it. First, the good quits. I quit a job that was making me physically ill. I had headaches every day. I could not sleep. I was anxious all the time. I stayed for 3 years because I thought quitting would look bad on my resume. Then one day I just quit. No backup plan. No new job lined up. Just quit. And you know what? I was fine. I found another job within a month. A better job. A job that did not make me sick. I wasted 3 years being miserable for no reason. I should have quit on day one. I quit a friendship that was draining me. This person only called when they needed something. They never asked how I was. They made me feel used. I stayed friend for years because we had history. Then I quit. I just stopped answering. And my life got lighter. I had more energy for people who actually cared. I quit a hobby I thought I loved but actually hated. I forced myself to play guitar for years because I wanted to be a musician. I was terrible at it. I did not enjoy it. Every practice felt like homework. Then I quit. I sold the guitar, and I started drawing instead. Drawing made me happy. I was not good at it either, but I enjoyed it. That was the point. Quitting guitar freed me to find something I actually loved. Now, the bad non-quits. I stayed in a college major I hated because I did not want to waste the first 2 years. I was studying business. I hated every class, but I told myself I was almost done. I finished the degree. Then I never used it. I wasted 2 more years on something I knew was wrong. I should have quit after the first semester. I stayed in a romantic relationship for 2 years after it died. We were both miserable. We fought all the time. But I thought love meant never giving up. So I kept trying, kept hoping, kept suffering. When we finally broke up, I felt nothing but relief. I had wasted 2 years of both our lives because I was too scared to quit. I should have quit after the first 6 months. I stayed in a city that made me depressed. It was cold, gray, and lonely, but I had a lease. I had a job. I had friends. I told myself I had to see it through. I stayed an extra year. That year was the loneliest of my life. When I finally moved, I could not believe I waited so long. I should have quit that city the first winter. I tell you these stories, so you know I am not speaking from theory. I am speaking from painful, embarrassing, wasteful experience. I have failed at quitting, and I have succeeded at quitting. And the difference between the two was always timing. Quit early. Quit fast. Quit before the pain becomes normal. Quit before you forget what happy feels like. So when should you quit? Let me give you some practical guidelines. Quit when you have tried honestly and the evidence shows it is not working. Quit when the thing is making you miserable more often than it makes you happy. Quit when you're staying only because of sunk cost. Quit when the thing goes against your core values. Quit when it is harming your health, physical or mental. Quit when you have outgrown it. Quit when you have found something better. Quit when staying is preventing you from growing. Quit when you are the only one trying. Quit when you are secretly hoping it will end. Quit when you feel relief at the thought of leaving. And when should you not quit? Do not quit when you have barely tried. Do not quit because it is hard one time. Do not quit because you are tired or bored on a Tuesday. Do not quit out of fear of success. Do not quit because someone else said you should. Do not quit during a bad week. Wait for a clear head. Do not quit everything at once. Be strategic. Do not quit things that are genuinely good for you just because they require effort. The gym is hard. That does not mean quit. Learning a skill is frustrating. That does not mean quit. The difference is between discomfort and misery. Discomfort is temporary. Misery is chronic. Learn to tell them apart. One more thing before we wrap up. Quitting does not make you a failure. Staying in something that is wrong for you makes you a failure. Not because you are weak, but because you are choosing comfort over courage. Quitting takes courage. Quitting takes self-awareness. Quitting takes honesty. It is much easier to just stay, to just keep going, to just hope it gets better. Staying is passive. Quitting is active. Staying is fear. Quitting is bravery. So the next time someone calls you a quitter, smile. Say thank you, because you are not a quitter. You are an editor. You are a strategist. You are someone who knows that life is too short to waste on things that do not matter. And that is not weakness. That is wisdom. Here is your challenge from Falonets. After this video ends, do not scroll away. Think of one thing in your life that you know you need to quit. One thing you've been holding on to out of guilt or fear or habit. It could be small, a subscription, a book, a commitment, or it could be big, a job, a relationship, a city. Just think about it. Then ask yourself, what would happen if I quit today? Really imagine it. The relief, the freedom, the space. Then make a plan, a small step. Cancel that subscription today. Put that book on the shelf. Send that text. Have that conversation. Take one step toward quitting. Just one. That is not failure. That is the first day of the rest of your better life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me defend the most hated word in the self-help dictionary. If this video helped you, share it with someone who is stuck. Someone who needs permission to leave. Someone who has forgotten that quitting is a skill. And hey, if you're watching this and you are in the middle of something hard, I am not telling you to quit everything. I am telling you to be honest. Is this hard but good? Or is this hard and wrong? Only you know the answer. Trust yourself. You know more than you think. This is Falonets signing off. Quit the bad. Keep the good. And never feel guilty for choosing yourself. See you in the next one.